How do? Hope you're all doing well. Happy fine Tuesday to you all. Welcome along. Let me just change that background. That's my what are we on? There we go. You'd think I'd be organized by now. Change my clown out for a tea time special, and down here. I will get used to this at some point. Today's tea time thanks goes to Sir Bramhall. There he is with a B. Hi Thomas, hope you're doing well. How's your Tuesday looking? Is it wet, dry, damp, moist, all of the above? Ooh. Dijon mustard, Thomas. Dijon mustard. Do you like a little bit of Dijon? Or even just English mustard? Not a lot of English mustard, like nobody needs a lot of that in their life, but just to kind of get like that wasabi hit, you know, kind of gets like the front of your brain kind of doing its own little dance party up in there. Yeah, I get that feeling, mate, because that's all we've had. That is all we have had. Good morning, Joey. Indeed, mate. I was just about to highlight that. I was just waiting for some more people to come in. Yeah, that's a bit of a disaster, isn't it? How it happened, who knows? It's still too early to say yet, isn't it? But yeah, thoughts are with everyone caught up in that in Baltimore, and hopefully they get to the bottom of that sooner rather than later. Dijon mustard in your coffee, bit out there. Ah, good job I got a cup of tea. Thomas. Oi, oi, Mr. Trilby Phil. Good afternoon, sir. I just had to look at the clock there to see if it was morning or afternoon for you, Phil. We're in the same country. Oh, what a day. What a day. Phil's alive. He is indeed. He is indeed. Well, I've got a good old cup of Yorkshire tea. And I've got a few rich tea biscuits to go with it. But for Thursday, I said I was going to get me Yorkshire Parkin. I've got my Yorkshire Parkin, so I'll open them on Thursday. If they last that long. Who knows? But yeah, already touched on Baltimore. If anyone hasn't seen the news, that was breaking a couple of hours ago. The cargo ship ran into a bridge, 1.6 mile long, and 3 or 4 huge spans of that bridge just collapsed into the river, taking all the traffic on top of it with it. No one knows how much traffic was on. It kind of, could I say, lucky in a way that it was during the night, because I'm sure if it was peak traffic time in Baltimore during any of them peak hours, then yeah, that'd be a huge disaster. So yeah, like I said, thoughts to them. People can offer the prayers. I don't pray, but yeah, I share my thoughts. Oi, twin. Hey up, Mr. Escobar. How's your Tuesday doing, mate? Oh, just what the doctor needed. I actually put 2 tea bags in today. I feel like I need a caffeine boost myself this afternoon. Spawn for some of you. Told you. Don't have a clue what time today it is. But it's been a busy one. I think having the nephews and nieces over on a weekend is kind of like tiring me out majorly. Because like yesterday, house spick and span, all cleaned up again. And then today, it's like no energy whatsoever. Um, Mine's good, mate. At work, same old. How's yours, mate? Yeah, all good. Got rid of the nephews and nieces for a few days. They're not due back till Friday. Well, late Thursday night. But couple of days relaxation. I saw a local news video showing the bridge going in. Yeah, uh, there's a couple of angles that have come that I've seen already of it. That's right, like any city, you've got these watch along cameras, haven't you, that people can just go online and watch and stuff like that. So I suppose that's where that footage has come from. If not, it'd be a little bit sus. We all know you wish the altar of the great square table and catch an STD on the way out. Good afternoon. My coffee is cold. Did you buy it cold or have you just allowed it to go cold, Adam? Who knows? Uh, Might be forever tonight then. Ah, I might send you a link. Yeah. And the other thing I wanted to mention as well was in London yesterday. So a few of you know, like a couple of weeks ago, I was on John's Nerd in Motion, formerly Lord's Brewing. I was on his channel, kind of filibustering while he was on his way down to Cardiff for the farmers' protests. Well, we've had one in London now, which was yesterday. I think there was about 160 tractors there, right outside Westminster, Trafalgar Square. They actually got into the city for a change. And what's happening is it's very different to what's happening in Wales. In Wales, the government just want your land to suit their green agenda. The one in London is the Brexit, the deals that are being made to import meat predominantly from countries that have very poor agriculture records. But apparently, it's a deal that was done as part of us coming out of Europe. The government just thought, yeah, we don't need to support our farmers that much. We can just get very cheap imported meats imported. So that's what we're going to do. So if anybody sees any pork, let's just pluck the country out. Let's say Poland. I'd Google and make sure you know where it's actually coming from. I didn't allow it to go gold. I was staunchly against it going gold, but it went against my wishes. I just hate that. Solidarity to your brother. Solidarity. Yep. And enjoy work, mate. Yeah, if I go private, I'll send you a message. No problem, mate. But yeah, that's kind of what's happening in London. I know John said he was maybe going to look at shouting me back up and doing a further chat on farmers' protests, which was about Wales. But now with this one in London, could be a much interesting conversation. The Tories will do anything now to make the balance sheet look good for the upcoming jet. Yeah, yeah. And the thing is, as well, they kind of just ignoring the wishes now of farmers and, well, the general public in general. But the frustrating thing is, though, both parties are exactly the same now. So you're getting the Tories that are just kicking up stink, and they kind of crushing themselves and doing their own dirty work. And then you've got Labour that have no policies, don't have a clue where they stand or what they're looking for or what their aims are. The manifesto, they've backtracked on all 10 pledges of Starmer's. And they can't actually give you any detail on anything they're going to do. It's kind of we've sat back and allowed the Tories to destroy the country without actually being any real opposition. And now they've kind of cut their own throats. We're here, but we're not ready for it. That's kind of my take on that whole national picture, should I say. I mean, I was only in politics locally, but the same principle goes. Hello, all. Hey, look. Now then, Mr. Stuntman Stevius at the Travernus. If anyone doesn't know, Stuntman Steve's now up to 359 subs. He's getting up there. Apparently, he's going to do a 48-hour live stream when he gets to 500. I may have just made that up, or it may be a real thing. Who knows? But yeah, I'm kind of, because I know the election's not going to be in May. That's too much of a short turnaround now. Could be in October. If I was the Conservatives, I would push for January. Their best chance would be January. They have up until, I think, the 25th of January to have an election. Cold of winter, people aren't bothered. We've just got Christmas out the way. The last thing they're thinking of is starting the new year, politics. Statistically, less people give a shit in January. I mean, that's quite encouraging, to be honest, Steve. So, yeah, 48 hour is happening. Hey, man, long time. Steve saying hi to Dean. So, yeah, but I'm actually thinking they're doing some kind of political. I don't want to do too political videos from my standpoint, being independent. So I'm like the fence sitter. I'm like center of everything. I don't know if people want to hear my opinions on things. Let us know, because I've already got a busy schedule that I've planned for April and May. But I could always do a few extra, I suppose. I think the Conservatives will go for the summer. They want a low turnout. People would be busy enjoying themselves. Yeah. So the thing with so when you look at campaigning, which all the parties do, that's why they always say we're here all year round, not just at an election. Yeah, because you campaign 12 months of the year. That just makes sense. But during winter, all those volunteers that are on the fringes that would go out during the summer won't be there in the winter. And like I said, January, people feel it tight. Now that you've got to put in your ID when you go to vote and stuff like that, no one's going to be bothered. And I think Rishi Sunak will want to go until the last possible few weeks. I think he'll try and eke out as much of his tenure as possible. Plus Euros are on. Yeah. He could hold it on Euro final day. Now, if England was in the Euro final, that would be interesting because turnout would be very, very low. To be honest, I think it's already going to be low. I, I mean, the Conservatives are going to do really poorly. Like they're going to lose hundreds of seats. But I also don't think Labour's going to pick up as many as they think they're going to. I think the Lib Dems, the Greens, and Independents will actually come through and take more seats. Yeah, I said I've always been independent. It's kind of good when you're an independent because you see through the bullshit of both sides. So that's what Stan going for. He wants to be Tory. So, yeah, yeah. It, so here's the weird thing with Corbyn, and you either liked him or disliked him, whichever way. Um, Membership skyrocketed under Corbyn. The party had everything going for it, and then what came along? It was the in-party backstabbing of MPs that created this entire thing about Corbyn. And don't forget, Keir Starmer supported him and then stabbed him straight in the back. He was like the first one to do it. You know, he already had his dagger ready for him. Because obviously Keir Starmer's got his own principles and kind of wants to be Tony Blair. And whatever your thoughts are on Tony Blair, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, um, that's kind of what he wants to become. Yeah, Lib Dem. Yeah. So the thing with the Lib Dems is a lot of people still haven't gotten over the fact that they went in a coalition. They still hate the Lib Dems, even though the Lib Dems have moved on. Yeah, I don't. I've never seen a historically like a party so hated for something that happened 14 years ago. You know what I mean? It's kind of like people hate the Lib Dems more for going into coalition with the Tories than Tony Blair taking those to a fake war. But you know what I mean? Each to their own. Oh, I think it's the time for a biscuit beer. These are the same rich tea biscuits from last week, by the way. Staying healthy, staying healthy. But yeah, I mean, Lib Dems, yeah, they've got good chance of picking up seats, quite a lot of seats. My so my family was staunch Labour, always have been. My my great grandma was Justice of the Peace and created Meals on Wheels for Labour. Um, I never went that way. They wanted me to. They give me a membership when I was old enough to. That quickly went by the side. Uh, but they're not voting Labour. So it'll be the first time in 4 generations, 5 generations. It'll be the first time that no one in my family will be voting Labour. Or Socialist for that matter. SDP came around a while back. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I I mean already. So like last year when I didn't get re-elected, kind of left the place on better terms. Labour got in locally, and it's gone backwards. Everything I implemented then no longer exists. and that's a sorry state of local politics that you're in for 4 years and then that's it. Everything can change, and it'll be a hell of a lot of work again to go through it. I usually only vote Labour for council and local elections. I usually vote Green on the general. Yeah, I've got friends that vote independent locally, Conservative regionally, and then Labour nationally. Which is funny when you think that, hold on a minute, you've got 3 ballot papers in your hand and you voted different on each. But that's kind of how close and confused the electorate are. I mean, locally, where we are, Tees Valley, Ben Outram's done an amazing job. Now, a lot of people who aren't politically active but do vote because they want to use the vote and they do go out and vote, see things are happening and understand it, so they're likely to vote for him. But then nationally, they won't. They'll vote for somebody else. So I think we're in the age now where people are getting a little bit smarter now, and they're understanding the different levels of politics and what's best for them. Yeah, it's confusing. It is confusing, but it's one of those. That was a 6-second dip, by the way. How long do you leave your rich tea biscuit in for, or digestive? 6-second dip all over it. I do apologise for eating biscuits, but I haven't actually had my dinner yet. Steve said, you've said it a few times, haven't you, Steve? You don't vote. But it's kind of like I always say, though, if you don't go out and vote, you can't really complain about stuff. That's my view on it. It's kind of, people die all around the world to get the right to vote, and then you get given a free choice to vote, and then people don't take it and then complain about whatever. That's one view I've always had. We've got the election, the Metro Police Commissioner next month. Yeah, I generally vote based on the candidate. Yeah, exactly. I mean, my voting record since I was allowed to vote has been 2 Labour, 2 Conservative, 2 Independent, 1 Green. I mean, you can't really get as much more independent than that, really. But the candidate plays it. I mean, we've got Wes Streeton's boyfriend lives in London, but he's been picked for the seat round here because he was born in Stockton South many moons ago. But he's lived in London for 20 years. But he's the perfect person to represent us because he knows what poverty in Stockton's like now. Apparently, whatever you vote for doesn't come about anywhere. Yeah, it doesn't, but it's still the fact that you can normally say when things go well, yeah, well, I voted correctly, or I voted for the wrong person there, and that's kind of how you smarten up on politics a little bit. Have to vote. People died for the right to vote, even if you go and spoil a ballot paper as a vote. Yeah, yeah. The the amount of times I've been on a vote count and I've just seen a cock and balls drew on the ballot paper. It's quite amusing actually, and some of the comments that people leave on. Um, yeah, they're, they're quite funny actually. Some of the stuff people come out with. But I don't know if that's just my kind of weird sense of humor. But when it's 3 o'clock in the morning and you're still in the middle of a second count, I've only ever voted Conservative twice, both times to prevent someone extremely right wing MEP. Yeah, MEPs. Remember how many people actually went and voted for an MEP? An MEP, for people who don't know, is the member of the European Parliament, um, which which is quite ironic because people were saying we don't have a say in Europe, and then you say, well, do you go and vote for an MEP? And they're like, what's one of them? Hmm, kind of your voice in Europe. Um, I mean, when it comes to Brexit in Europe, I voted to remain. Voted to remain. Campaigned on it. Campaigned to remain in Europe. Um, if there was another one, I'd probably vote to return. I think there's a hell of a lot we're missing out on. And like I said, these deals, like even with the farmers are finding out now. You know, all these products that used to be UK meats are now Polish meats, and from factories that are settled in horrific conditions and everything else. It's like, be careful what you wish for. There's a lot of stuff that was tied up for a few years after that Brexit vote, which meant it was kind of plain sailing for a little bit. But don't forget, there was by this point, by this point, by this point, by this point, we're getting there now. It's like now people are starting to understand more about it. Yeah, I voted to remain. Is every person I met who wanted to leave couldn't answer a simple question? Yeah, yeah. It was very bizarre. I mean, this thing on the bus that people say, "Oh, well, I seen that 350 million for the NHS on a bus, so that made my mind up." It's like, how naive do you really need to be? You know, it's I I don't get it. As you said, oh, the deals and stuff. I learned a lot of the fuel pumps thanks to your curriculum. But yeah, you need to like people need to understand where things come from, everything in their day to day lives. You know, there's some people I know that work for organisations and they don't really know what they do. They just say, "Oh, I'm a data analyst. Um, I analyze data." And then you say, "Well, what data?" And they're like, um, "Don't know actually." Because the company we have it for send it off to somebody else above them. So it's quite bizarre. Where's the money coming from? Yeah, on the side of that bus. Yeah, uh, and then they magically came up with the bright idea of where was all this money coming from. Um, we're going to chuck an extra 2% on your adult social care for your council tax. So where the money coming from is us, the people. So we might have wrote it on a bus and said that we'd put extra into healthcare. We didn't tell you that you were also going to be paying for it. It's like out in the northeast, so we've got Hitachi. So Hitachi's huge train manufacturer, and kind of certain parties are kicking off now in the northeast because Hitachi might be going under. They haven't got enough orders to balance their books. But these are the same people that 5-6 years ago voted to bypass Hitachi and go to a French manufacturer for the metro in Newcastle. So the decision was made that no, it's too expensive to use Hitachi, which is on our doorstep. And we've got deals to be made in the EU after Brexit, so we'll get it done in France. Why not? And now they're kicking off that all the jobs on the doorstep that people need to pay the council tax back to the council. The people on the councils have done them all a good one now, haven't they? Not only have they increased the council tax, they've said your job's not worth it as much as we want to save an extra couple of quid. Yeah, so yeah, three. Yeah, I got what you meant, Adam. Every time with the Tories, you will follow the money, get the real answer. With this reduction of national insurance, it's where's the money for the NHS coming from then? Yep, and no one can answer it. No one can answer it. See, the NHS. So I've got an insight into parts of the NHS from things I used to be years ago. There is huge amount of wastage within the NHS, huge amounts. I'm not talking hospital A&E on the floor type of wastage. I'm talking about wastage in the foundation trusts, in the trusts that oversee hospitals and GP practices. Yeah, I'm a GP, but now I want to be a locum. Why? Because a locum gets more. So then you go back to that same GP practice, but as a locum doctor. So you get paid higher money. And GP services are all private businesses that a lot of people don't know. So when you actually go to see your doctor, although it's free for us to access, they get money off the government as a private business. So every GP practice around the country is actually a private business. It's kind of what Labour were talking about a year and a half ago when they were saying, well, we do need to privatise some of the NHS to keep it going. And it's kind of the same thing that they want to do. They want to offshoot certain services and procurement stuff into private hands, which is then you get the issues like the PPE contracts and stuff like that. A lot of money went missing there, didn't it? No one's held accountable for. Bring back Boris, though, apparently. But yeah, that's like I said. I'd be happy to talk more about this type of stuff on other live streams or even videos. Or I kind of like the live streams to talk politics. I always find I can discuss politics in a manner that is level-headed. Yeah. So maybe more, and then once the election's done, go back to drinking beer and making food or reviewing food. Hey up, Twisted. How are you doing? I'm just about to end. I've gone over. It's supposed to be a half an hour show. But I don't mind. 35 minutes. Tories are starting to privatise NHS. It's different funds. Trust fears have paid managers with interest ridiculous money. Old Union is the head of the botany for Wigan. Yeah. So that's where the money goes to. It goes to the pen pushers behind the scenes, not to the actual staff who were putting in all the work and all the effort within the NHS. But actually, privatisation started, unfortunately, under Labour. So it happened just before the Tories came in, and then went into that coalition with the Lib Dems. But they kind of aren't reversing anything, are they, Labour? If you look at every other general election before now, Labour has always been NHS, NHS, NHS. This year, it's hold on, they're not even talking any. To be honest, Labour's not even talking anything. You know, it's they're just not. They've got no plans or ideas going forward. Hence why it's going to be exactly the same as what the Conservatives have put out. They backtracked on that green energy, the climate change budget, and what they said was, yeah, well, it was going to be 28 billion, but a lot of that was already budgeted for by the Conservatives. Now we're not willing to do that, so we're going to put 4 billion into it. Kind of got them caught out there a little bit. Idiot learns politics. Was in the garden, didn't see the notification. Hope you're good. Yeah, all good, Twisted. All good. Mean of me. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at. Like I said, if just let us know, and if anyone's watching this back, just let me know in the chat, and I don't mind putting my head on a parapet. It's good for NHS to outsource some things, but people should be fighting to get NHS contracts in the NHS to be trying to get the best value for money. Yeah, and sometimes the cheapest contracts aren't necessarily the best value contracts. So yeah, like if yeah, get that, Adam, get that, mate. So yeah, thanks all for stopping by. I'm gonna head off. I've got another couple of things to do. I won't be around much this weekend. It is Easter weekend. I can't indulge in chocolate this year, or next year, or any other year because I don't really like chocolate. But yeah, those that do like chocolate, enjoy your chocolate bunnies. Don't get too fat. Thanks for joining, and I am back on Thursday. I think I've set it for 12 o'clock on Thursday, so I will catch you all Thursday. Thanks.